everybody. This is Rolanda Sumner, and I am the CEO and founder of Life After Service Transitional Coaching. This broadcast will be on our podcast and on the YouTube channel. And today I have the pleasure of having Mr. Christopher Porter back on again. He's basically, I guess he's going to be our our business financial expert, because he's given us so much information. His last visit, it was about how to actually get approved for a business loan and all the little things that we've never considered. And today he's going to talk to us women, veteran entrepreneurs on funding. So I'm going to let Mr. Porter have the show. Thank you for coming on.
Well, thank you, Rolanda. And first of all, God bless you all out there. And thank you from the bottom of my heart for your service to our country, because without you, where will we be? And so I hope everybody is going to remember you on the 4th of July like we do on Memorial Day, Veterans Day, and everything else, because of the sacrifices that you have all made for our country. So saying that, I wanted to share a little bit about women's business. Did I send Rolanda, did I say the information on the funding that we talked about before?
You sent me links and I attached it to the last podcast and video we had. So I shared that information. I can share it again as well.
Okay, not a problem. I wanted to talk a little bit about women-owned businesses, because I'm going to tell you right now, women-owned businesses are exploding. And what I wanted to do is show you a study that was done by American Express on women businesses. It started from 72 all the way up to 2018. The focus was between 2007, just before the great, setback we had economically in our country, and 2018. And I wanted to talk a little bit about that situation and bring that study up. We got files and over here. Okay, you can see that, Rolanda?
Yes.
Okay. Well, this is their study, 2018, the State of Women-Owned Businesses Report, and I found it very, very, very interesting. You can chime in anytime you like, Rolanda, because it was really fascinating. Pretty much, women-owned businesses are exploding. They have been exploding, and I wanted to come up here. Analysis of the overall business ownership, employment, and revenues. Again, just real quick, the second paragraph there, the number of women-owned businesses increased a dramatic 31 times between 1972 and 2018, rising from 202,000, 44.6% of all firms in 1972 to 12.3 million, or 40% of all firms in 2018. Employment surged from 230,000 to 9.2, growing 40-fold. Revenues rose from 8.1 billion, representing just 0.3% of all firms in 72, to 1.8 trillion today in 2018. It's a multiple of 217 times. It's just amazing to me when you look at this stuff. Here we go. From 2007 to 2018, the number of women-owned businesses surged 58%, while everybody else in the regular business only 12%. The total unemployment by women-owned businesses rose to 21%. And during this period of time, businesses declined everywhere else by 0.8%. Revenue jumped 46%, while regular businesses only went up 36%. And that is just phenomenal. Down here, 4 out of every 10 businesses are now women-owned businesses. This Rhonda, is the best time for you as a woman to get into business. And if you didn't hear much on the podcast before where we talked, you know, businesses, getting funding for businesses is very tough now because banks don't lend. We talked about that. And then the only way they will lend you is if you have collateral. And so you need some sort of way of building a resume, a business resume, to be able to qualify for loans and everything else. But I wanted to share with everybody minority-owned businesses. I was a little surprised at this. Let's see. National trends. Here we go. Current numbers of firms for women of color. If you come over here to the right column here, you know, as of 2018, African American owned businesses number 2,402,600, or 20% of all owned women-owned businesses, and have grown at an annual rate of 9%. You know, that's amazing. You know, but here's the thing that was, and let me put this here too. Latino-owned women businesses, number 2,142,800, or 17% of all women-owned businesses, and grew an annual rate this past year of 7% compared to 10% between 2018 and 2007 to 2018. But if I come back here, let me go back because this is important. This was the thing that caught my eye. This third paragraph right here. The gap is widening between the average revenue for businesses owned by women of color and those by non-minority women. In 2007, the average revenue for women of color-owned businesses was $84,100. By 2018, it had dropped to $66,400. In 2017, the average revenue for non-minority businesses, women-owned businesses, was $181,000 and grew, or had jumped, to $212,000. It really doesn't explain, Rolanda, as to why there was this drop, you know, but I think people should be aware of that, you know.
Why do you think the drop occurred?
I thought about this when I saw it. The only thing I could say is that a lot of women get into, women of color get into businesses that are not great generators of income. Hair salons, things of that nature, cosmetic ways. And I think that the competition of, you know, I don't know, you're in South Carolina, but up here outside of Philadelphia, you know, there's a beauty hair salon on every other block, just like barbershop, you know, and it's like we need women to do other things outside of that if they really want to generate higher income. So I think that it's the selection of the field that women of color are getting into, as opposed to just a general drop. I don't think it's a support thing. I just think it's oversaturation in a few different types of industries. You know? So I wanted people to be aware of that. And listen, go online and get this and look into it yourself, because it's really fascinating stuff. But I really want women to know, your viewers to know, your lady viewers to know, that there are all kinds of statistics, but the fact of the matter is, the good news is, women-owned businesses are exploding. You know, and I read off some things for women businesses last time. You know, there's grants, small business grants for women. We talked about Zion's Bank, Smart Money. They get out a grant for $3,000 Women's Veteran Entrepreneur Corps for small business competition, Huggy Brand Inspired Grants up to $15,000. FedEx Think Bigger, get a portion of $75,000. Ideas Cafe Business Grants up to $1,000. Chase Google Mission Main Street Project grants up to $150,000. Innovate Her, Innovate for Women's Challenge Sponsorships, SBA, $30,000. Then there's crowdfunding groups like Plum Alley, Women 2.0, Mula Hoop, and then there's Axion USA. If you're in Delaware, Delaware Access Program. If you're in New York, Garmin Bank. And then there's Women's Economic Ventures. And then there's also, I mentioned before, veteran funding options include military reservists, economic injury, disaster loans with the SBA. The SBA Express loans up to $50,000 line of credit up to 7 years terms. And then there's the Patriot Express, loans up to $500,000, and you can get no collateral fee, no collateral needs to be put up, all the way up to $350,000 of those dollars. So it's important that you know that there are funds out there, there's grants, there's loans, and everything else. But you know, and I'll plug my business. What we do here at Porter Financial Consultants is help people get into business even if they don't have personal credit, or if they don't have great personal credit. And we offer a step-by-step process in which you acquire different types of institutions or companies that will lend your business, extend your business credit that you put on your business credit report, and make it easier for you to, for us to represent you to the banks. We deal with over 1,200 lenders, 1,200 investors in over 13 different major banks, including PNC Bank, Bank of America, Bank of Oklahoma. There's a whole bunch of banks that we, you know, and we have such a great reputation because we've dealt with over 15,000 clients since 2014, our inception, that we could take your information, which is you've built business credit that they've reported to the business credit reporting agencies, which are the three major ones, Dun & Bradstreet, Equifax Business, and Experian Business, and we show them that this is what you have accomplished in a period of 5, 6, 7 months, and they will lend you money based on your business credit. So it's important that people understand there are avenues out there, even if you are new in business, even if you don't have the money to get into that building or store, even if you have poor personal credit, there are alternatives that can help you extend your business, extend funding to your business, and allow you to get in and be successful in your careers. So we're hoping that we can bring on a few more of your clients, because we would love to have you. If you're interested, you can go to our website, www.porterfinancialconsultants.net. Those who are listening to a podcast, this podcast, can go there, and there will be a special funding option for you to be able to get in there and get started the very next day, as long as it's a workday week. The very next day, we can get you started on your way to building business credit, which will ultimately lead to you getting the funding necessary to get your business off the ground. So I'm hoping that people take advantage of this opportunity, because it's very difficult. We talked about before, banks are not really interested in lending peanuts, $25,000, $50,000, $100,000. It's just a hassle for them. And we talked about how they look to disqualify you rather than qualify you. And they come up with all kinds of little booby traps, including your name, and if you have your EIN number or a DUNS number, or are you listed with 911? That was your personal favorite, if I remember, Rhonda.
Yeah, it's not even.
Yeah, the 411. So they throw all kinds of little landmines in your way to keep you from qualifying for these loans because they don't want to be tied down with that. So hopefully, your listeners, your loyal listeners who are very interested in getting funding for women-owned businesses, we would love to do it. I said before, I had a dream that, I would love to see, maybe South Carolina would do it, a women's owned mall. A mall that had just nothing in it except women-owned businesses. I've dreamt about that, and maybe one day we'll get to see that. And maybe some of your listeners will be able to be members of the mall and have their own business in that mall. But I would, somewhere in the United States, I dream that one day we could see a women's owned mall.
Hey, ladies, he's calling y'all out right now. So somebody out there is looking for a business idea and is not afraid of the risk. This is an opportunity. It's an idea that you might want to explore. I do have a question. I know you are experts in working with businesses to increase their business credit score. How does that play in with grants? Because I know there's more talk. When I first learned about business or wanted to know more about business, I remember I was getting out of the military. It was like, no, business grants don't exist. You're not going to get them. And then over the last couple of years, there's been more discussion and more emails about those grants. What is the trick to getting them? Because naturally you have everybody trying to apply now that they're spoken about. Have to already have revenue? Do you have to have a operating like P&L statement? How do you get to the top of the list?
It depends on the grant. The first thing I suggest doing is looking up and finding out all the specific grants for your particular situation. And each grant has its own requirements. So I couldn't pinpoint and say there's a specific way of saying that there's an advantage or not. The best advantage is to know when these grants come out, know who they are and when they come out, and try to beat the crowd that way. But they don't necessarily ask for things like profit and loss or things unless they are for more seasoned businesses. But there are plenty of grants out there for startups. And they're out there, and it's just a matter of doing some research. I'm not the grant expert. There's a couple of ladies that I can't think of their names that are one's on YouTube, and she is very, very, very good at helping people who are interested in nonprofits getting grants and building it. I'll have to email that name to you. I know I have her stuff in my information. So what I'll do is I'll send that to you. She has her own YouTube channel, by the way, but she is I highly recommend her. She is very good and knowledgeable about the whole process of grants.
Yeah, maybe I can get her on. Thank you for sharing that information. I'd love to speak to her more because we have, in the women veteran space, there's just becoming more women veterans who are starting organizations just for women veterans. And it's lovely to see because for a long time, we didn't really have much representation. So I'm sure that they would enjoy having that information and just some insight on how to get started.
Yeah. I agree. I will definitely fork that over. I should talk off the air with this, but I wanted to say, getting support for veterans is very, very important. My sister-in-law, she's a therapist, and she works with veterans, a lot of veteran couples that are going through stress, post-traumatic stress disorder, and how it affects the family and things of that nature. And so listening to her, I learned a lot about how difficult the job is, and then you have to bring it home sometimes, and then have to function in a home environment with all the different stuff coming back from overseas that you have to deal with. And I would assume it doesn't get talked about, the amount of pressure that women are under when they go and do overseas and do their duty and everything else. So I'm glad to hear you say that, because I think that there should be a major need for nonprofits to deal with veterans in a lot of different ways, support for veterans. So I agree with you 100%.
Yeah, there is a lot of us. Women are just starting to self-identify. For
Mm-hmm.
years, it was just, you can be working with someone for 10 or 15 years and not know that she was in the Army or the Navy or what have you. Let alone know what kind of rank she had or what kind of job she had. So women are just starting to self-identify openly, and naturally you can't see if we served like on our face or our hair because we don't look like uniform. So
Mm-hmm.
it's nice to have organizations that are cropping up to provide support, because when you get out, you really do feel alone. Outside of your battle buddies, you really don't have anywhere else to turn. And it's hard to look back towards your friends who are currently serving because they're serving. So they don't really understand the transition process. So yes, any support we can give to our women veteran organizations would be great. What are some things, what are 2 or 3 things that our listeners can do today, starting today, to make an impact on their business credit?
Well, the first thing you want to do is to make sure that you have an EIN number, employer identification number, because you can't do anything without it. The employer identification number is like the Social Security of business. The government needs to regulate your business. So first thing you need to do is to go to www.irs.gov. Make sure you go there, and it's free. Go there and set your business up as whatever you're choosing to do. Is it's whatever. Start with getting the EIN number. Then you can do things like you can qualify for a loan. You can also open a business bank account. You're not going to be able to do that without it. So that's the first thing. The second thing is to check with your state and decide what type of entity you want it to be, whether it's a sole proprietorship or a partnership, or did you want to do a 501c3, which is a non-profit, or did you want to do subchapter S or C, or limited liability? So you may want to go there. If you go to our website, we give a free ebook on 4 things for business credit that you may want to do. It's a really good ebook. So if you go to www.Porter Financial Consultants, that's with an S, .net, it'll pop up, and you can just download the free ebook, and it's going to go through and tell you all the different things that you're going to need to get business credit. So it's very helpful, whether you sign with us or not. The ebook is free, so it's a good thing, and it's full of all that information. So EIN number, get your entity number, and then make the decision for what exactly the field you want to be in long term, and look at what the competition is, not just locally but nationally, for what you want to do. I think that those are the things that I would do if I was starting out trying to get information for business. But like I said, it's all encompassed. Go to www.porterfinancialconsultants.net and you get the free ebook, and you can download, and it's chock full of information on how to get started and what we do and how you can build business credit to be able to get a loan.
And then I have one more question. It's more for me than anything.
Sure.
Me and a few other people are looking into government contracting. I have my street, my cage number. I have the basics. So my question is, now that I have my Duns and Bradstreet number, what else can I do with it? Because I know that's one of the major business credit entities. So what do I do? Do I send my statements? Because I don't use credit cards with my business. I pay I bootstrap. So what do you do?
Well, your Duns and Bradstreet, your Duns number, basically, it's important, but it's not as important as the EIN number. Okay, it's created by Dun and Bradstreet. It really identifies where your business is located, whether you are using a post office address, whether you're using a home address, or whether you're using a commercial address. That's really what it does. It tells everybody where your business is located. As far as getting started, where you want to go, what type of contracts were you looking to deal with?
Consulting, business consulting, primarily for micro businesses to help them with their leadership development. And then on the one-on-one side, transitional coaching for military veterans. My heart is with women veterans, but if I found a program that had me coaching like male and female veterans, that would be fine too.
Okay, so that sounds like a nonprofit there. The military thing, that's not a nonprofit?
No, I didn't want to do a nonprofit because I didn't want to cap out my earning potential. And I didn't.
That's why I got to get you, what's her name's information, because she talks about that. She talks about people not wanting to pay themselves a very high salary because they feel guilty. It's a nonprofit. And she talks about you better wake up and pay yourself a high salary. She was really good with that. I saw her on that. But anyway, if you want to do for profit, that's fine too. It's entirely up to you. But as far as contracts, if I were you, I would start with the DoD. And see exactly what types of contracts they do give out, especially to women-owned and minority businesses. It may be something that you can set your business up and deal with the DoD on. You've got you're a former, you got the connection. I would suggest you go start with the DoD and see what types of what types of contracts, and even grants, because the DoD does give out grants also. Yeah, they do. So I would go that route. I think the other thing, there's other, I don't know. I have several members in my family that are in the military, and through them, I'm a member with Navy Federal Credit Union. And they're really good. I don't know if the other one is PenFed.
I heard of both of them.
Oh, I figured you would. I figured you would. But they have some inroads to different things like that, and probably you could be a ticket for you to get funding or loans through them also.
Okay.
Because of the relationship that they have with the military and military vets and stuff of that nature. So that's what I would do if I were you.
Thank you. I wrote it down for the DoD and the grants and the women-owned business. I really do appreciate it. Listen, we're going to go ahead up, but listen, everybody, you really do need to go on his website. I'm going to put the link below, and he does have an ebook, and it really has a lot of good information in it. It's not too long. It has really detailed information. It talks about things that I promise you haven't thought about when it comes to listing your business and applying for a loan. Go ahead and check him out. He's been freely giving us information for the last couple of episodes for us to get back on track, or get on track to having a financially stable business. So make sure you reach out to him to get assistance and to learn more about how your business can have strong credit. Tell us how we can find you again.
Yes, sure. My number is 888-510-3376. And also you can go to www.porterfinancialconsultants.net.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You're amazing. I really do appreciate all of the information you share with us. You guys do not forget, check out his website tonight, get that ebook, and make sure you follow up with him on how to have a very strong financial future for your business.